Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So we're going to talk about the new moon in Gemini taking place on June 14th, 15th depending on where you live. It's taking place at 24 degrees, which is the third decan of Gemini. So this is an interesting new moon. It feels a little bit empty almost. So I'm going to explain some of the transits and aspects and what this means for your rising sign specifically. Also take note, of course, that if you have anything in Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces from 20 to 29 degrees, for example, like a Gemini moon or a Virgo sun, this is going to be more important for you. So one thing that's of note is that this new moon is a new start. So this is when there is a push for something new. But the reason why I mentioned it slightly empty is because the moon is what you call void of course. Now, if you don't know what it means when the moon is void of course, it's basically a sort of emptiness, like there's not much support there. So when the moon's void of course, it means that the moon is not making contact with any planets. So, for example, it's not squaring anything, it's not trining anything, it's just there. So when the moon is void of course, it kind of feels slightly empty, maybe even slightly confusing for a new moon, because with that fresh start, it's quite rare. It's basically a moon that feels ineffectual or rather weak because it's not being supported by anything. So it's not like Jupiter's trining it. It's not being square, there's no tension. It's just nothing is happening to it. So it's not powerful for change. It's not powerful for hope. It kind of just is, right? So that means that progress or a fresh new start that feels powerful is very difficult. So things kind of maybe stay the same as they are, or you can feel very frustrated that maybe this moon isn't going to do much. That doesn't mean that it's not going to do anything. Of course, everyone has a different personal chart. So, you could have this new moon conjunct your natal moon and then, yes, it is going to do something. But the point is it's rather weak compared to other new moons we've had this year. On top of that, you've also got this weird feeling that it's the end of the line. So 24 degrees of Gemini is the third decan. That is the 10 of Swords. It kind of is like the train conductor saying, end of the line, but you don't really know where to go. So it's like, I've got this fresh new start. I've been kicked off the train. I don't really know what to do, right? Gemini is all about mental activity because it's ruled by Mercury. Now, Mercury is currently in Cancer, and it's due to station retrograde on June 29th, which is going to be very sentimental. But of course, every time Mercury walks backwards, it's a revisit of the past. And so it feels like sitting and planning and continue to plan rather than launching anything. I certainly wouldn't be launching anything on this new moon. Strategically, no. June 9th was a lot better because of the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. June 8th as well, when the moon was, trining it and supporting it. But June 14th for this new moon, I'm not sure I would strategically be launching anything that feels like it's passionate and exciting. If I was really saying I trust astrology and I can take my time with it. Now, June 15th is a little bit better. And again, it also depends on where you are in the world because Venus in Leo is going to be making an aspect to Uranus and Gemini. So that's really good for unexpected harmony, love and travel, unexpected communication. That gives text from a lover in a way, depending on what you have in your life. But it feels like good interaction that's generous and quite friendly. So I think the actual day of the new moon could be a little bit sort of underwhelming for some, but then the days after could be a little bit more exciting. Now, what does the 10 of Swords actually mean when we think about the third decan of Gemini? Well, it actually has a Saturn rulership to it. So even though Gemini is ruled by Mercury, there is a Saturn element here. So this is about the end to suffering. But for some, you may not know how to end your suffering. You can't just lie there and wait for things to work out for you. But with this moon, like I said, it kind of feels like, where are you meant to go? So it really depends on you making an active choice. It feels like the universe is not going to support you on this. You've got to be the one that actively does it. Everything is in your hands here. And especially with how you're changing your life and coping with things. So on every level, you need to say, what have I been doing up to now that's not working for me? And how can I actively change it? And, I think at times this can be a little bit dramatic, but you want to see what's being supported here in your own life. How do you feel about making change? And then also check your own birth chart. So some of the aspects are Venus in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius, which can cause a little bit of tension when it comes to the inner dynamics in your life, particularly power, love, and control. It depends where it shows up in your chart, of course, but that can cause a little bit of tension. Again, a feeling of fighting against the wind and trying to regain some control of your life because the universe is not going to do it for you. I don't want to talk too much about the outer planets because a lot of that is not really changing, and it doesn't mean that just because you're having a new moon that it's like this is different. But one thing I will mention is that Mercury sextiling Mars, so Mercury in Cancer sextiling Mars in Taurus, brings a lot of confidence and mental agility, really good for tackling problems, but it's very slow. So again, it just kind of feels like you're wading through mud. This is just not the breakthrough new moon that you might be expecting, because a lot of people think, oh, Gemini ruled by Mercury, this is really good for those new insights. I think it's good for starting new projects if you feel that you're passionate about it, but I think it feels like I have the will to start something, but not necessarily the resources. You also have Mercury still squaring Saturn as well, brings a bit of inner doubt and self-restraint, kind of feels like, I have the will again, but how to execute it feels like logic's not on my side. And I would say if you feel like you need a strategic plan, come up with a strategic plan. Don't just wing it, because winging it's not going to help, particularly if there's no sort of support in the air from the moon here. Okay, so this is what this means for your rising sign. So if you're a Gemini rising, this is in your first house. So this is associated with your identity, your goals, your appearance, and the way that you're coming across to the world. You could feel a bit annoyed that your personal transformation and identity is not shifting, or things are not feeling as confident as they could. If you're a Cancer rising, this is in your 12th house. So this is associated with mental health and learning new things and your spiritual routine. If you're a Leo rising, this is in your 11th house. So this is your friendships, the networking opportunities you have, your wishes, and the kind of goals that you have. This could be a bit annoying when it comes to a long-term goal that you really want to start pushing on with, but again, maybe you don't have the resources for it. If you are a Virgo rising, this is in your 10th house. This is associated with your career, public validation, and some of your social status. So this could be, again, a push for getting some validation, but it feels like maybe it's not in the air for you right now. If you're a Libra rising, it's in your 9th house, associated with long distance travel, higher education, publishing, and some legal matters. If you're a Scorpio rising, this is in the 8th house. So this can be to do with taxes, intimacy and merging with others, particularly what you're sharing. It could feel like you are in this alone with somebody, or you want a fresh new start. Can feel particularly challenging in this house. If you're a Sagittarius rising, this is in your 7th house. So as a mutable sign, this is going to impact you. So this could be related to your one-to-one relationships at work, the people that you're dealing with one-to-one, legal matters, relationships and marriage, but also a feeling that things are not pinned down or concrete enough for you. If you're a Capricorn rising like myself, this is in the 6th house, associated with physical health, co-workers and colleagues, and a sense of responsibility and duty. So this can be the push to try and, improve your health, and maybe it doesn't necessarily feel as supported. There's something missing. I've been trying to improve my health and my gut. Stomach's not doing well at the moment, so I can understand this probably feels like it's not going anywhere, or it feels like I'm putting in this effort and it's like, hello, If you're an Aquarius rising, this is in your 5th house, so this can be a new start with a relationship or a creative project. This could also be with your children, something that feels a little bit more risky or out your comfort zone. It definitely feels like in the getaway car with no plan. If you're a Pisces rising, this is in the 4th house of home and family. This can also be associated with your private subconscious mind and not wanting anyone to invade that, particularly because Gemini has its association with mental activity. And again, because you're a mutable sign, then it's going to impact you. It's going to square these placements. So that can feel like a new start, but almost a little bit dull, if that makes sense. If you're an Aries rising, this is in your 3rd house, so this is associated with the Gemini elements of communication, project planning and project management. Also could be short distance travel or something new when it comes to your community. It could feel potentially lonely on this particular new moon. If you're a Taurus rising, this is in your 2nd house, associated with income and finances, confidence, and perhaps a new start in the way that you are approaching the world. Because Mars is in Taurus right now, is quite a slow glacial feeling at the moment. So again, it could be that you're a little bit annoyed that things are not pushing on as you would like or hope. So this new moon is a new moon that feels like it's always like a mid-moon. It's like not even a new or a full moon. It's like, where are we going? It's really up to us, I would say. I think because of this void of course moon, it's up to us to really say, right, I'm going to change things. I'm going to have a passionate new start. And if I need resources and I need a strategic plan, then I need to sit down and make the plan, right? Rather than just winging it and hoping for the best, because the moon is not being supported by any planets where it could actually help you if there was an issue. So those rising signs was a quick rundown because I want to leave it up to interpretation. But let me know what you think this is going to be for you. And if you're looking forward to Jupiter moving into Leo soon, if you're apprehensive about Mercury retrograding in Cancer, let me know. And I'll see you for the next video.